Innocent Graves by Peter Robinson. Read by Simon Slater. Chapter 1, Part 1. The night it all began, a thick fog rolled down the dale and enfolded the town of Eastvale in its shroud. Fog in the market square, creeping in the cracks between the cobbles. Fog muffling the sound of laughter from the Queen's Arms, and muting the light through its red and amber panes. Fog rubbing and licking against cool glass in curtained windows, and insinuating its way through tiny gaps under doors. And the fog seemed at its thickest in the graveyard of St. Mary's Church, where a beautiful woman with long auburn hair wandered barefoot and drunk, a wineglass full of Pinot Noir held precariously in her hand. She weaved her way between the squat, gnarled yews and lichen-stained stones. Sometimes she thought she saw ghosts, grey, translucent shapes flitting among the tombs ahead, but they didn't frighten her. And she came to the Inchcliffe Mausoleum. It loomed ahead out of the fog, massive and magnificent. Classical lines formed in marble, steps overgrown with weeds leading down to the heavy oak door. But it was the angel she had come to see. She liked the angel. Its eyes were fixed on heaven, as if nothing earthly mattered, and its hands were clasped together in prayer. Though it was solid marble, she often fancied it was so insubstantial she could pass her hand right through it. She swayed slightly, raised her glass to the angel, and drained half the wine at one gulp. She could feel the cold, damp earth and grass under her feet. "Hello, Gabriel," she said, voice a little slurred. "I'm sorry, but I've sinned again." She hiccuped and put her hand to her mouth. "Excuse me, but I just can't seem to—" Then she saw something, a black and white shape, sticking out from behind the mausoleum. Curious, she squinted and stumbled towards it. Only when she was about a yard away did she realize it was a black shoe and a white sock, with a foot still in it. She tottered back, hand to her mouth, then circled around the back of the tomb. All she could make out were the pale legs, the fair hair, the open satchel, and the maroon uniform of St. Mary's School for Girls. She screamed and dropped her glass. It shattered on a stone. Then Rebecca Charters, wife of the vicar of St. Mary's, fell to her knees on the broken glass and started to vomit. Part 2. The fog tasted of ashes, thought Detective Chief Inspector Alan Banks, as he pulled up his raincoat collar and hurried down the tarmac path towards the faint gauzy light. Or perhaps he was being fanciful. Even though he hadn't seen the body yet, he felt that familiar clenching in his stomach that murder always brought. When he reached the scene, just off a narrow gravel path past the shrubbery, he saw the blurred silhouette of Dr. Glendenning through the canvas screen, bent over a vague shape lying on the ground, like a dumb show in a Jacobean drama. Fog had played havoc with the usual order of arrival. Banks himself had been at a senior officers' meeting in North Allerton when he got the call, and he was consequently almost the last person to arrive. Peter Darby, crime scene photographer, was there already, and so was Detective Inspector Barry Stott, who, for reasons clear to anyone who saw him, was more commonly known as Jug-Ears. Stott, who had recently been transferred from Salford upon his promotion from Detective Sergeant, was a temporary replacement for D.S. Philip Richmond, who had gone to Scotland Yard to join a special computer unit. Banks took a deep breath and walked behind the screen. Dr. Glendenning looked up, cigarette dangling from his mouth, its smoke indistinguishable from the fog that surrounded them. "Ah, Banks," he said in his lilting Edinburgh accent. Then he shook his head slowly. Banks looked down at the body. In all his years in Eastvale, he hadn't had to deal with a crime like this. He had seen worse in London, of course, which was part of the reason he had left the Met and transferred up north. But you clearly couldn't hide from it any more now. Not anywhere. George Orwell was right about the decline of the English.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?